Where should I point it though? Should I stand here? Hey Mark, we should still stand here. We're not doing a very good job. Are you gonna? So Chuck, you're gonna work this? Hello. I can turn this up a little. Alright, let's do it. Alright, and then Mark, you ready to go? Alright, hello. Everybody, if I can have your attention, please. Thank you so much for coming out tonight to our launch party for our 10th annual Kaffny Third Culture Cinema Festival, which is coming up this October 15th to 22nd at White Hotel in Williamsburg. Today we're in Koreatown at Juga. We're live streaming right now on Facebook as well. So I just wanted to, we just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview about what we're doing, like what our mission is, and then a quick idea of what our program will be for the festival. And then also we're going to introduce 3 of our incubator long form programs. So we have Jules So here, and Jennifer Cho Sir, and Eric Reed. So they'll be presenting their projects. So without any further ado, we are the Korean American Film Festival New York. This year we're kind of evolving our brand. We've always been about, we've never been about just showcasing Korean American films. It's been a little bit more geared towards diaspora. And then we had to kind of look at ourselves a lot and say, well, how do we kind of like really portray what we're trying to do? Because when you say Korean American, people kind of get like a very narrow idea. So what we realized is that, growing up as a Korean in America or Canada or where have you, there's 2 cultures that kind of try to tell you what to do. Like, okay, you're half Korean and you're half Canadian, so therefore, we feel sorry for you and you don't really have a voice. But what we found is that actually when you grow up with 2 or more cultures, you actually develop a third way of looking at things. You develop a third culture. And whether you're Korean or you're Chinese or you're Japanese or I don't know, Brazilian or what have you, like a lot of the people that grow up with that kind of mentality, even if they're not Korean, kind of can see eye to eye about a lot of things. So in kind of making that observation, we're thinking that third culture is really a better platform for inclusivity, for collaboration, so that we can kind of telegraph to the world that we're really about being open-minded and finding the ways. We're not focused on what is our identity. We're not into identity politics. We're focused on like how are we connected to different kinds of people around the world and presenting that. So I have one of our great new staff members here, Mark Anthony Singh, and he has a few words that he might want to say about their culture. So.
Thank you, everyone. So my name is Mark Anthony Singh, and I wouldn't be here today if Kaffny Third Culture Cinema wasn't about third culture cinema. So a little bit about me. I was born in Toronto to parents from a country where they were born. It was called British Guiana. Now it's called Guyana. All right. There's a bit of a colonial history there. And yet, I was born there, but then I grew up in Long Island, New Jersey. I'm an American native. And to me, I'm Guyanese, I'm Canadian, I'm American. I have multiple cultures that I'm dealing with, and I grew up with. I'm a third culture kid, as we call it. I have to deal with multiple perspectives. And honestly, that's really shaped a lot of what I am. Like, I met Dave earlier this summer. If this was the Korean American Film Festival of New York, maybe I wouldn't have been as interested, but he's about bringing this third culture perspective, and that interests me a lot. So I went to college. I'm a little bit older now. 2 years ago, I had 4 roommates. One guy his dad was from California, his mom was from Taiwan. He grew up in Hong Kong. Another guy was Iranian American from Louisiana. The other guy was an undocumented immigrant from Mexico who grew up in Texas. And yet they all told me, hey Mark, you're the most American of all of us. And yet I was Canadian. But then it got me thinking, well, what does it mean to be American? Yeah, I spent time in America, but what does that really mean? Like, where is our culture coming from? I don't know if you guys know the rapper Currency. He's kind of on the underground circuit, but he has this great song I like called Address. And the main refrain of that song is, ain't nothing changed but the address. You could be you, but go to another place. He has a feature on that song, the guy's name is Stolly, and he says, funny how a 3-hour flight can make your life change. He's talking about you can be on the East Coast and then end up in the Caribbean, and everything can change. A 3-hour flight can make your life change, so can a 13-hour flight. That can take you to Europe and the Middle East. A 23-hour flight can take you to East Asia. You can be anywhere in the world nowadays within a day. And we're not just going there as tourists. We have connections. We have family there. We have different ways to relate to things. So we have this sort of international connection. Maybe people don't like third culture, but I'm still gonna support it. So we have this sort of global connection to the world. You can go anywhere. You can be anything. And look, I studied history in college. Anywhere you go in the world, the map reflects colonialism. Doesn't matter if you were in Europe or in Africa or Asia or South America. People rule other people. That's how sort of the history of the world is. And the map of the world sort of stayed stable since like World War II. Things are still changing, but you're from a country, you're that culture. You're from China, you're Chinese. You're from Korea, you're Korean. From Russia, you're Russian. But that doesn't happen. Things don't work like that anymore. We're in a fluid culture where things are moving around, and what really reflects the future and reflects the way culture is going, it's not about what ethnicity you are, what nationality you are. It's about how do you engage with multiple cultures. I'm engaging with multiple cultures. I'm sure all of you are engaging with multiple cultures. And that's what third culture cinema is about. It's about, it doesn't matter what country you're from. It doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. It's about, well, you have a perspective which was born from that melting pot that the politicians like to talk about, but we put it into practice. And it actually means, well, you actually can say something that maybe somebody who only grew up in a monoculture can't. And so we have great filmmakers, we have great films coming up in the festival later this year, and I think we just need to celebrate third culture as sort of an alternative to the national and ethnic barriers that have always existed, and this is the way to the future. And that's all. Thank you guys very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mark. So if we could go to the bumper, please. And hit it one more time. All right. So, yeah, we're basically headquartering in Brooklyn now, which is supposed to be like the global epicenter for authentic hipster culture, but minus the hipster part. So, we're being proud about that. Can we go to the next slide? Kaffny Third Culture, we spoke about that. I'll show you a little bit of our program now. So we have 8 feature films. On the first day, the documentary opening day, we have 3 films on the 15th. And on the closing day, on the 22nd, we have 3 narrative films. And those are all competing for Best Third Culture Film. As you can see, they're very diverse. The first documentary is called After Spring. It's shot in Jordan and USA. It's about the Zatari refugee camp Syrian refugee camp in Jordan. It's actually executive produced by Jon Stewart as well. The Korean angle in this, I don't want to give away too much, but it's kind of fun. I mean, it's kind of like so random, but it was like amazing to me at the same time. There's actually a Taekwondo dojo that ends up becoming like a big part of the story in there. So that's the way that third culture kind of works into that one. The second one, Daddy Don't Go, is a story about, or 4 stories of single fathers in New York City. One of the co-directors is Korean American in that one. But that's also third culture in a way because it helps us think about single fatherhood as not like, oh, what's wrong with them? But there's actually people really trying their best to be a good father, you know? So it kind of, our whole theme is really to challenge existing narratives, and really, that's a film that helps us do that. Singers in the Band is a world premiere of a film that's shot between the Philippines, Korea, and the United States. It's about military prostitution and trafficking, and there's a lot of undercover footage that the filmmaker got. He's actually an Oscar award-winning documentarian who's gotten a lot of grants from all, like Ford Foundation, MacArthur, everything. So that'll be a world premiere. That'll be pretty interesting as well. Daddy Don't Go is actually executive produced by Omar Epps and Malik Yoba as well. The centerpiece music films, there's a narrative and a documentary. One is the first one is blending reggae, grunge, and K-pop in a kind of a fun genre mashup. Bad Rap is about Korean American rappers. That's directed actually by an African American director about the struggles of trying to make it in hip hop. And then on the narrative closing day, the first film there, Empty Space, is actually a film that was shot on $7,000 in like 14 days. But seriously, one of the best films you will see this year if you see it. The dialogue, performances, everything is amazing. The director is Korean American, but the story really you would never be able to tell. But it's almost like everything that you want a Sundance movie to be, but a lot of them really aren't. Inner Place is one of the highest critically acclaimed films from Canada in 2014. It's a Canadian filmmaker, his debut feature. He got a lot of awards there as well. He shot the whole film in Korea. He's not really a Korean native speaker either. But if you watch the film, you'll feel like this is like such a Korean film, but then it has a slightly different perspective that is very interesting, I think, because you don't really get that in a lot of Korean films. How to Win at Checkers Every Time is a film from Thailand. It's a debut feature by Josh Kim. It was actually the foreign language Oscar entry for Thailand, and also one of the most successful films that year. And that's also a premiere for New York. So these are all different kinds of premieres. You can see it's very diverse, and we're holding this competition around this idea of third culture, and trying to define that together. So yeah, if we could go to the next slide. All right, so without any further ado, we wanted to get into the incubator lab. So this is a new program that we have. We're headquartered right now out of the Made in New York Media Center by IFP in Dumbo. And we were thinking now that we're there, we might as well try to leverage our resources and help other productions, as hard as it is to make films that, feature, third culture stories. What can we do to kind of help those stories get made? So this is part of our efforts. The first feature film that we are supporting is a film by Jewel So. It's called Toshi. And we're going to have her come up and speak about it a little bit. She can say a few words, and then we're going to show a clip from the film. And don't forget about the focus group.
Thanks everybody for coming. This is my first feature film. I did a short film version of this called 528 New York, which got into multiple film festivals, and I've been writing this for the last 3 years. And some of my cast members and crew members are here. Andre, Leo, you want to stand up and say so I actually started filming this last summer, and we shot up until Monday. And so we're just prepping it and trying to get it ready for film festivals. We're going to be launching a Indiegogo campaign soon for post-production, and we're having our focus screening this Sunday at NYU Einstein Auditorium in the East Village. So if you guys are free Sunday at 1 o'clock, and then afterwards we're filming. But thank you so much.
Yeah, so we'll see a quick clip from the film. Yeah, you gotta hit it one more time. Press play one more time.
Guard next door, like working in the garden or whatever. She all of a sudden said, everything is gonna be okay, and not to be afraid. I walked over to her, right? She had this veil over her face. As I walked away, all of a sudden, she just grabs my arm. Like this. Just like tugging it back and forth, right? And she just screamed like,
가자.
뭐 벌써 다 썼어?
다 만들어져 있더라고.
미안, 너 담배 한 장 끊었어. 너 요즘 뭐 촬영한다고 안 그랬었나? 뭐 한다고 그랬었지?
요즘 레스토랑에서 일도 하고 뮤지컬도 하고
뮤지컬 뭐 어떤 건데?
드라마.
드라마? 잘 됐네.
넌? 일본 여행은 어땠어?
일본 뭐 다큐멘터리 촬영하러 갔었잖아.
다큐멘터리?
내가 얘기 안 했었나?
어떤 내용인데?
일본에서 이제 갓 이혼한 어떤 여자에 대한 이야기인데 근데 다 만들고 나서 보여줄게.
왜?
그냥 뭐 다 만들기 전에 막 이야기하고 그러는 거 별로 징크스 있는 것 같고.
오케이.
너 저번에 뭐 촬영한다고 안 그랬었나? 스페인에서?
그때 촬영 장소가 바뀌었대. 또 언제 촬영 들어갈지도 모르겠고.
안 됐네. 뭐 되게 그거 좋아했었잖아. 그때.
뭐 여기서 다른 작품하면 나야 더 좋지. 이거 끝나면 독립 영화 들어가기로 했거든.
독립 영화? 또? 뭐 어떤 건데?
어떤 커플 이야기. 떨어져 살면서 같은 꿈을 꾸는 그런 커플 이야기?
네가 썼냐? 딱 우리 얘기잖아. 서로 떨어져서 살면서 이제 같은 꿈을 쫓는 커플이야.
내가 같은 꿈을 쫓고 있었어?
right, excellent. So we'll move on to our next project here. Before that, these are details about the focus group screening. Is this Sunday, 1 to 4 p.m. at NYU Einstein Auditorium, 34 Stuyvesant Street in New York. So yeah, just if you can attend the screening, give Jules some feedback so she could get to her picture lock and finish the movie, which is, I myself as a filmmaker, it's brutal, but it's necessary. Okay, so moving on to the next project, we have Jennifer Cho Sir with the feature film You and Me Both.
Hi. Yeah, so I'm Jennifer Sir. I'm the writer-director of You and Me Both. Yeah, I didn't realize I was going to control. Thank you. Okay. You and Me Both is a story about two sisters. The older one's a struggling heroin addict, and it's about their relationship, which is tested when they take a road trip to meet their Korean birth mother. It's a project that is really close to my heart, and it's one that I really wanted to talk about. The heroin epidemic, obviously a lot of people know about that. It's a rising issue in the US, and I really want to tell a story that kind of humanizes that issue. It doesn't really focus on the moments of crisis and like a needle in the arm, but really what is it like to have a loved one who's suffering from something that you don't know if they're going to get better, and sort of living with the doubts that that entails. And also just really a sibling piece about two sisters, and sort of, I think a lot of people have siblings, they know what it's like to have that sort of infuriating, oftentimes, that relationship, but also something that's sort of unshakable, and especially in a situation like this when you have so much frustrations, but also worry about somebody who's undergoing something that you don't know they're going to come out of. So that's a lot of like the themes. It's a road drama, but it does have comedic notes. I know I'm talking about some heavy shit, but like, it's a film that I think that also, which is important to me as a Korean American filmmaker, does showcase these very human and complex Asian American characters. So I don't have anything to show because I'm in pre-production, I'm in development. We're still in the fundraising phase. We are planning to shoot next spring, but that's sort of where we're at right now. So hopefully shoot May, June, do post, apply for festivals in the fall, sort of projected premiere of next winter or spring 2018. We were supposed to shoot this summer, so we are cast. We have a lot of team on board, and we sort of didn't get the money together. But we have Constance Wu from Fresh Off the Boat is playing the older sister. She's also a producer on the project. We also have Jennifer Kim, who's in Most of the Jungle. She's playing the younger sister. Yeah, and then just to tell you a little bit of our team. So I'm a writer-director. I went to NYU for my graduate film program. I made a series of shorts. I've gone to festivals. I've done a couple web series. I'm currently in an incubator with Time Warner developing a half-hour comedy, working on a bunch of different projects. My producer, Carolyn Moe, has produced a couple features, and she's somebody who's been very close to the project. And Constance recently came on also as a producer. We have a consultant producer, Molly Asher, who's also an NYU grad film alum. She did Songs My Brother Taught Me, which was at Cannes, Fort Tilden. She's also controlled a number of great indie features. Our production designer, Maki Takanoichi, is somebody I've worked with on my thesis films. She is attached to work on it, and Pepe Avila is a really great friend of mine, also from NYU. Most recently is shooting Quarry with Jason Bateman and Netflix. And did the pilot for The Deuce on HBO, and Quarry, which is out now on Showtime. Just a plug for him, I guess. And then moving on, these are just a series of slides, as I can't really show you the film. I just wanted to show you some inspiration. I really like the idea of this road trip movie. Part of the story is inspired by my travels with my friend, who's also Asian American, and sort of we've taken several road trips over the years all over the U.S. And I've always been inspired by the landscape, and I really like the idea of making a narrative that sort of plays in this very classic American iconography and like these landscapes, and putting these sort of unexpected characters. So a lot of photographers like Stephen Shore, Robert Adams, sort of a heavy influence, sort of how the look and feel of this film will be. And you can just sort of quickly go, yeah. So these are some slides that we put together to give a sense of a look and feel. this is some early press that we've got. If I can send you, I'll send you a lookbook and you can click on those links and read them. And yeah, so we're really in an outreach sort of phase. I just launched a Facebook, so if you want to like us, you can get some more updates. It's very likely that we will have to do a crowdfunding to get the money to make this feature. So obviously that will all be part of, you can get those updates if you follow us on Facebook. And you can always reach me and my producer at that email address. But
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Awesome. So that would actually be Constance Wu's first feature lead role.
yeah.
In that film. Yeah. But yeah, if you could help make it possible here, whoever's got like a big checkbook. All right. Anyway, okay. So next is Eric Reed, discovering gochujang. So he made a short film about gochujang. We'll show you a piece of that. But before that, Eric, if you're around, you have a...
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave. Hi, I'm Eric. It's kind of amazing to see so many people come out on today's Wednesday, right? Wednesday. So thank you for coming. I think there's so many things to do in New York, and for you guys to be here, for me means a lot, and I have two people from our team here that helped create this product or film. But my background is not in film. I went to engineering school and mostly have done television, but I've always been a big fan of storytelling. And I was asked to do something fun for this product called gochujang, which we sort of, if you're Korean American, you kind of grew up with, but you didn't know how to explain it to people. You didn't know how to explain why it tastes good or why you like it. And it's a spicy fermented, chili sauce, but doesn't sound tasty if you say it that way. But if you say sriracha, it's like amazing. So we wanted to create a platform and a story that gave, a lot of the people that work on films create people as characters. Our goal is to create a food product that is near and dear to our hearts as a character. And the chief storyteller for us was a fun and really smart, innovative chef named Edward Lee. And, we basically told the best story we could about how to explain gochujang. And the goal of the video is really to empower people who love the product to explain to other people. And I just wanted to, as you guys watch, you're only going to watch the first 3 minutes. The rest of the 12 minutes is online on facebook.com/unlicious. But I wanted to give a shout out to Alex Korn is here. Any of the slow-mo Ronin shots, that's him. And then we have Ryan Faulkner, who did what I think is one of the most innovative interpretations of gochujang in a graphic form. So all the lower thirds and the swipes, that's all him. So hopefully you guys get hungry. If you don't, I apologize. And anybody who feels like food and film is a passion, give me a call. I'd love to help you guys out.
It is distinctive. It's spicy. Red. It's chili. It's sticky. It's sweet. It's delicious. It's addictive. It is the intense aroma of chilies and fermentation, and it is something that I can eat with every meal.
That was Ryan.
I grew up with gochujang as like my ketchup. It was literally, we put it on everything, and it was so much a part of my identity growing up that when I went to culinary school and I started cooking, in New York, I cooked mostly French food. And so that whole world sort of became a shell. It was like, that's the world that I grew up with, but it's not what I cook as a professional chef. So many years later, my chef friends and I would go out drinking in New York. And we would end up and say, well, what are we going to eat? And I would always be like, listen, we can go to Koreatown. They're open 24 hours. And you can get all this great stews and barbecue beef. And my chef friends would be like, oh my God, what is this kimchi? What is this gochujang? And so I found myself explaining to all these American chefs what all this stuff was, because they all loved it. And it turned out they would start going to Koreatown without me. Rice bowl. This is the gochujang. Taste that.
It is like barbecue sauce. Like the most delicious spicy barbecue sauce. Nice.
This is your seafood bowl. Barbecue pork. This is a dish that came from the Korean War.
There's definitely a lot of sausage and pate stuff going on here.
It's in various forms of pureed meat. This literally translates into spicy stew.
This is a little hot, yeah? This is my favorite.
It's hot.
So far.
So this is actually my favorite thing to eat of all Korean foods. It's a chilled noodle. Whoa. And it's spicy.
Yeah, it is. This noodle dish is my favorite.
Yeah, you guys are officially Korean. For this.
Cheers, cheers, cheers. Cheers. Cheers.
I really love watching when chefs, their minds start spinning, going, wait a second, I could do this, this is bouillabaisse, this is this. In that moment, they get transported right back into their own kitchens. I want to do a little experiment with you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I have 3 different kinds of gochujang, and I want you to taste them before we actually go and cook with them. This one here is made with rice flour, so it's actually a gluten-free version. The one in the middle is made with wheat flour. And this one is made with wheat flour, but it's also extra spicy. It's sort of doubled up the amount of chilies in there. For me, the rice flour is a lot cleaner.
You know, seasoned nicely, texture's smooth, the spice is there. I'd say it's about a 5 or 6 on the spice level. There's some sweetness going on, a little bit of this natural smokiness from the chilies, I think.
This one you're going to get a little bit more complexity. The wheat sort of reacts a little differently.
Pretty cool.
And then this is the big mama.
This is the fire, huh?
Look at it texturally.
This is more chilies or what?
Yeah. Spicy. You're starting to sweat a little, right?
So those were our incubator lab projects. I hope you will follow them, and we'll be continuing to update you about those. So just moving on, I just wanted to also talk about community champions. If we click on this link right here, so we're just this is our way of creating an opportunity for people within the community who have, who are like-minded, that want to maybe get involved at like a higher level. It's basically patronage, and the way that we have it set up is that either you can buy 2 tickets at $25, which is actually a discount, but you're kind of like a member in the loop. It could be a VIP for $150, but you could bring a +1 to pretty much all access for the whole festival, all 10 events. If you're at $500, you can adopt a screening. So you can basically have your name or logo up for each screening if you think it kind of jives with your personal mission or your organization. You get up to 8 tickets plus 2 VIP passes and a $50 certificate to Osamir, the new restaurant on 5th and 31st Street, and a social media shout out. Or we also have headliners for opening and closing, which give you a lot more opportunities for visibility for your organization. But anyway, we just wanted that to be out there. We think it's pretty, a good way for people to get involved and really be a champion of different films, rather than just going and, just watching it. Like, you can actually do more. You can become an advocate for these things. So yeah. All right, and then moving on to the next. That's our link on Patreon. Okay. And then moving on, we also are looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in being a volunteer for the festival, let us know. Talk to us. And thank you. And then here's some details about the festival and our website. So yeah, thank you so much for coming out, and feel free to mingle about and network, and you can hang out here for a little bit more. So yeah. All right. Woo. All right.
You seen it? Oh, okay.